For today's session is going to be on mainly on opening the chest. So it's a really good thing to focus on. It helps with our breathing. It's also an area that can get quite tight. Often, if we're sat for most of the day, we end up kind of slouching and all those muscles tighten up across the chest and it can feel really closed down. So we're going to focus on opening the chest up through a range of different exercises today. So we'll just get started and I'll talk us through all those different ways of working through the chest as we move through the session. Just before we begin, if you have got anything like an exercise band or a belt, a tie, a towel, anything like that, you might want to just make sure that's to hand for one of our poses today. You can do it without, but if you're quite tight in the shoulders, you might just want the aid of something just to create a bit more space for the shoulders. Other than that, our weights or our cans as usual, and please make sure you've got some water to hand and stop and take drink breaks whenever you need to. Okay, so let's begin focusing on our posture, sitting up tall, planting the feet on the ground, thinking about rolling the shoulders up, back and down, and already starting to think about opening that chest slightly. Sitting tall, stacking vertebrae on top of each other all the way up and imagining that string tied to the top of your head that's reaching all the way up to the sky, drawing the top of your head up towards the ceiling. And just relaxing your hands in your lap, we're going to start with some deep breaths. So starting with an in-breath, breathing all the way into the bottom of the lungs and then followed by an out-breath. Nice and slow and controlled. Let's do that 3 times all together. Here we go. Big deep breath in, sitting up tall. Breathing in, all the way to the bottom of the lungs. And breathing out. Nice and slow and controlled out breath. And again, big deep breath in, thinking about reaching that head up towards the sky as you breathe in, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Filling those lungs, feeling that chest expand as you breathe in and breathing out. Nice and slow and controlled all the way out. Last time, big deep breath in all the way to the bottom of the lungs. Feeling that chest opening as you take that lovely big deep breath in and breathing out. And as you breathe out, see if you can keep that lovely open chest. As you breathe out, don't let it all collapse back down with the out breath. Excellent, well done. Okay, and before we begin moving the body, let's just take a moment to check in with how we're feeling today. So just start to notice how you're feeling in the body. If you have any aches or pains, any tight spots through the body, just notice where those places are for you today. And let's see, as we move through the session, if we can breathe into those parts of the body and help them to relax and release. And then just take a moment to check in with your mind, to notice how you're doing today, whether your mind is feeling really busy, whether you're a little calmer today. Perhaps you just need to take this time today to just help steady and focus that mind. And there's no right or wrong here. You know, it's not a good or a bad thing, whether your mind is busy, whether it's calm. It's just really helpful sometimes to notice what's going on. Okay. And from here, let's begin warming up the body. So starting at the top, taking one ear towards the same shoulder, and then rolling it into the chest, and the ear to the shoulder on the other side. And again, nice and slow to begin with, just waking up those neck muscles, feeling that stretch, moving down into the shoulder perhaps, but we're not straining or pushing too far here, just starting nice and gentle. So, one more on each side, before bringing the head back to the middle and moving to the shoulders, starting with our shoulder rolls, going up, forwards, down and back. You can release the arms here, just let them hang by your side. Try not to restrict the shoulder movement by tensing in those arms. Just let them relax and flop down by your sides. Lovely, big, juicy circles working all the way into that shoulder joint. Noticing if one side feels a bit tighter than the other. Then you might hear a little bit of cracking or clicking. Our shoulders often get quite tight and crunchy. That's absolutely normal, just as long as there's no sharp pain. Okay, if you find anything painful, then please stop. And then changing direction. So this time we're going up, back, down, and forwards. Lovely, big, juicy circles. And as you roll the shoulders back this way, just notice as you take them back, that chest opening again. And you can use your breath here to really aid that. So as you roll the shoulders up and back, breathing in, opening the chest. And breathing out, moving forwards. Breathing in as you open the chest. Out. In and out. Lovely. And then relaxing the shoulders. And we're going to take one lovely big shoulder shrug. Squeezing the shoulders up towards the ears. Breathing in for 3. And 1, 2, 3. And then breathing out and relaxing and releasing. And then from here, we're going to start to work into the back and the chest a little bit more. So we're just going to start by taking the arms nice and wide, opening them as far as you can, opening that chest to the front. So we're also just arching the back a little bit, taking them out, and then bringing them all the way forwards as if you're hugging a tree, plumping down into your lap. Open, breathing in, and closing, breathing out. Open and close. Keep that breathing going. Breathing in as you open the chest. Breathing out as you curve the back. Really see if you can work through the spine, curving all the way from the bottom of the back to the middle of the back to the top of the back and tucking the chin to the chest. Excellent. Let's do one more in each direction here. Open and close. Very good. And then coming back to your lovely upright position. And then we're going to move into the hips. So just taking hold of one of your legs, hugging the knee in towards the body, and then guiding the leg around in a gentle circle so that the leg is moving from the hip. Excellent. 2 more here, and then change direction. 8 in each direction. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 more, 7 and 8. Placing that leg down gently and swapping over sides. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you can stay sitting tall. And 8, change direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Lovely. And then placing that foot back on the floor. And then just taking a few gentle leg raises here. So taking hold of the side of the chair if you want to, or just relaxing the hand in the lap or by your side. We're just going to take some gentle leg raises. Up and down. So it's up to you here how high you go. You can keep them nice and low if you want to. Or if you can see if you can extend that leg up at hip height. So let's keep going here. Reaching the legs out and away, sitting up tall, starting to work through those thigh muscles, warming up the legs, starting to mobilize that knee joint. So making sure we're uncurling at the knee. Let's do 4 more. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Excellent. And then bringing the feet back to the floor, placing your weight back into the soles of your feet. And then we're going to rise up onto our toes and all the way back down. So up and down. We're feeling the lower leg muscles, the calf muscles starting to work here as we warm up through the lower leg and the feet. So making sure we're going all the way up to the toes, through the balls of the feet, down, back down to the soles, heels on the floor. Keep going. Let's see if we can go a little bit quicker now. And let's do 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent. And then just a quick warm up for the ankles. Extending one leg away, taking the foot in a circle in one direction. 8 times. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Changing direction, sitting up tall as you do this. Remembering you can hold on to that chair if you need to. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Excellent. And bringing the foot down, stepping sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Changing directions. Again, you might hear or feel a little bit of clicking in the ankles here. Again, that's perfectly normal as long as it's not painful. 7 and 8. And relaxing that down. And just before we move on to our weighted work, let's just give our wrists and our hands a little warm up. So just starting with some wrist circles, taking them in one direction. 5, 6, 7, and 8. And changing direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then just curling the fingers into a fist. And then opening the hands out into stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then bringing the palms together at the chest, raising the elbows up, pressing the hands together and stretching through the palm of the hand, then into the underside of the wrists, and a little bit into the forearms. And then threading the fingers down and through the middle, bringing the backs of the hands together. Again, keeping the elbows nice and high, pressing the backs of the hands together, stretching across the top of the wrists, into the forearms, and down into the hands. Breathing as we stretch. Excellent, well done. And then giving the hands a little shake. Okay, so let's now move into our weighted exercises. So picking up your weights if you're choosing to use them. Again, you can keep it light if you want to. A can of beans, something like that is absolutely fine. If you have got heavier weights and you want to use those, then please feel free. Just make sure that you are working at the level for your body. So we're going to start with some arm circles, sitting up nice and tall, taking arms all the way out to the side, lifting the hands to shoulder height, gripping onto those weights, and taking 10 big circles in one direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And changing direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent. And then just bringing the weights together and having a quick rest. I'm just going to show you the next exercise. So I'm going to turn my chair just so that you can see what I'm doing with my back against the chair for this one. So this next exercise is called a chest fly. So we're going to really wake up and start using those chest muscles. So sitting on your chair at the front, grounding the feet down, pressing into the floor, and then just thinking about engaging those core muscles and then leaning back onto the chair so that just the top of your shoulders is resting. So you're creating a really nice straight line from the shoulders to the hips. We're not rounding the back and slouching into the chair. We're trying to keep a nice straight plank from the top of the head down to the hips so that the middle and the lower part of your back are off the chair. And then we're going to take the arms wide, draw that belly button in towards the spine and take our arms out at shoulder height and then bring them in front of the chest, above and out again. This is our chest fly. So let's do 10 of these. Here we go. 1, 2. Breathing in as you bring them together. Breathing in as you out as you take them apart. So in as you come together, out as you take them apart. 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Excellent. And resting your weight, sitting back up off the back of your chair, pushing your bottom back a little way and coming into a row position. So we're still keeping that lovely straight back, but this time we're hinging from the hips forwards. And if you need to, you can take the legs a little bit wider here. And then we're going to take the arms down by the side of your thighs. And we're going to lift the arms up and back as if we're rowing, squeezing the elbows up at the back. 10 of these. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, 10. Excellent. And just relaxing for a minute, popping the weight back down. And I'm just going to move my chair to show you the next section. So just giving your arms a little shake, a little rub if you need to. Relaxing through the arms. And then when you're ready, coming to standing and making some space so that you can use your chair for support in our sequence, but you've still got enough space behind you to work as well. So we're going to be stepping back a little way from our chair today. So just make sure you've got enough space on a non-slip surface behind you and that your chair is nice and stable and it's not going to slip underneath. So you might want to pop it on top of your mat like I've done. If you've got your band or your belt, whatever it is, just make sure you've got it to hand. So I've just placed mine on top of the chair ready to use in the sequence. And also this week, we're going to be coming down into our dragon pose. So if you do have sensitive knees or any knee issues at all and you need extra cushioning under those knees, then please make sure you've got something, a folded up towel, a cushion, or if you've got an extra yoga mat, then you can cross that across your mat like I'm about to do to kind of make a cross so that you've got some extra cushioning under your knee for when we come to our dragon pose. Okay, so we're going to start the sequence standing in front of our chair, standing nice and tall, rolling the shoulders up, back and down. And we're going to begin with our mountain pose. So taking a big deep breath in, reaching all the way up. Breathing out and folding down, bringing the hands to the chair. Breathing in and coming to your flat back pose. Reaching out the top of your head. Breathing out and folding all the way down to your full fold. Keeping hold of the chair if you want to, or reaching those fingertips down towards the toes. And with the next in-breath, coming back up to your flat back position, taking the hands nice and wide on your chair now so that we can create some space to move through in our cat and cow pose. So with your next in-breath, we're going to press the chest through the arm, look up and out, and breathe in your cow pose. And then as you breathe out, curling back through to cat pose. So rounding the back, reaching the spine up towards the sky, dropping your chin to the chest. Breathing in, coming back to cow pose. Breathing out as you curl through to cat pose. One more of each. Breathing in, and open through that chest to cow pose. And then returning to cat pose as you breathe out. And then with the next in-breath, we're coming back to our flat back position. And then from here, we're going to step back a fair way from the chair, draw the belly button in towards the spine, and then tip the weight into the hands, bringing the hips in line with the shoulders and the ankles, coming into our chair plank. So we're really engaging those tummy muscles here. If you want to here, you can just think about stretching those heels towards the floor as well, lengthening down the back of the leg. And then from here, we're going to take 3 chair press-ups. So Thinking about keeping the elbows in towards the body for this one. We're going to breathe in and then breathe out and push up. Breathe in and lower. Breathe out and push up. And just going as far as you can, not worrying about getting your chest to the chair. And after 3, the next one we're going to do, we're going to come all the way through to cobra. So lowering and then pressing the chest through and reaching the hips down, coming through to cobra. And then drawing that belly button in, pressing the bottom all the way back and coming to your downward facing dog. Pressing the hips and the bottom back, stretching through the legs, reaching the arms long, spreading the fingertips out on top of the chair, letting your neck and your head relax and release, giving your head a little nod or a little shake here, just to release any tension in the neck and the shoulders. Very good. And then from here, we're going to step 1 foot forward and come into our mountain pose. Sorry, our warrior 1 pose, I mean. So we're just adjusting that back foot to 45 degrees, bending through the front knee, and then you can stay here supported by your chair, or you can take a big deep breath in and reach all the way up to warrior 1. Now breathing out and sinking down here, making sure that front knee is lining up with the front toes. And then from here, you can stay where you are, or if you want to, the first option is to reach the arms behind in our warrior pose, interlock the fingers, and press the hands down away from you, sliding them down your bottom to open the chest to the front. Now, if this is too much for you in the shoulders, if you've got quite tight shoulders and you need a little bit more space, then take hold of your band, your belt, whatever you've got, hold it behind your back and just give yourself a little bit of a gap between your hands and see if that helps you to open the chest, but also create a bit of space in the shoulders. I'm going to take a couple of deep breaths here, thinking about opening that chest. Excellent. And then releasing and bringing your hands back to the chair, releasing that back foot, coming into a long lunge position and dropping that back knee down to the floor, releasing the back foot and coming to dragon pose. So again, you can stay supported on the chair, but really try to sit there, be tall through the body and open the chest in front of you. Or you can release the arms, sweep them all the way overhead as you breathe in, palms together, pressing up towards the sky. And then as you breathe out, bringing the hands down the middle and creating with the sound of your breath, creating that dragon breath. And then from here, we're coming into a gentle twist to open the chest to the side. So turning the body towards the back leg, and then if you can, bringing the front elbow towards the front knee. And you can stay here, pressing the hands together, keeping the hands in the center of the chest, so we're not letting the hands go and the chest stay down. We're keeping the hands and the chest in line. And you can stay and breathe here, or if you want to, you can take the top arm up and the bottom arm down and create a lovely straight line from the fingertips next to the foot all the way up to the top hand. Taking a couple of lovely deep breaths here before coming back to the center, taking hold of your chair again, tucking the back toes, pressing through the back foot, coming back up to a long lunge, and then it's up to you, either walking or stepping that front foot back, and coming all the way back to our down facing dog. Taking a couple of lovely deep breaths here, stretching out through the legs again, reaching the arms away, spreading the fingers on the chair, spreading the toes on the floor. And just relaxing and releasing in this pose. Before walking the feet forwards, coming back to our flat back toes on the chair, breathing in. Breathing out and coming to a full fold, gentle bend in the knees. And then breathing in and curling all the way back up to standing. Reaching the fingertips up overhead. Breathing out and bringing the hands down the middle. Okay, excellent, well done. So we're going to do that all again on the other side. So just take a moment to remember which leg you stepped forwards on the first time. This time, when we step into that warrior pose, we're going to step forward with the other leg. Okay, here we go. Big deep breath in, reaching all the way up, mountain pose. Breathing out, folding forwards, bringing the hands to the chair, coming to your full fold. Remembering not to lock the knees out, to just have a little gentle bend in the knees. Breathing in as you come into your flat back pose. Breathing out as you fold all the way down to full fold. Remembering you can release the hands if you want to. And then with the next in breath, coming back to your tabletop flat back position. And then from here, moving through our cat and cow poses 3 times. So with the next in breath, coming through to cow pose. Opening that chest. And then breathing out, moving to cat pose. Reaching the back up towards the sky, dropping the chin to the chest. Breathing in and coming through to cow pose. Breathing out, and moving into cat pose. 1 more of each. Next in breath, coming through to cow pose. Really thinking about opening that chest through your hands. Breathing out, and coming through to cat pose. And then with your next in breath, coming back to your tabletop position, and then stepping the feet backwards, making some space between you and the chair, ready to draw the belly button in, engage the tummy muscles, and then tip the hips forward to line them up with the shoulders and the heels. So we want to make sure the bottom's not lifted, but also that the hips aren't dropping down. So that's going to put a lot of stress and strain in that lower back. We want to keep that lovely flat line from the shoulders all the way down to the heels. And then from here, we're taking 3 chair press ups. So breathing in as you lower, breathing out as you press up. Breathing in as you lower, breathing out as you press up, just taking it as far as you can. In and out. Very good. And then with the next in breath, bringing the chest through the arms, and then coming all the way through to cobra. And then drawing the belly button in towards the spine, pressing the hips on the bottom back, and coming through to down facing dog. And just taking a couple of rounds of breath to stretch here. Enjoying that lovely stretch down the back of the legs. Remembering not to lock the knees out, and keeping a gentle bend in the knees, just to protect those knee joints. This is especially important if you have hyperextension in the joints, you have sway back knees. It's really important that you don't lock those knees all the way out and put extra stress and pressure into those joints. Keep that little soft bend in the knees. And then from here, we're stepping forward into our warrior one position with the other foot this time. So you should be on the other side. And again, you can stay here in the chair, just thinking about opening that chest to the front, or bringing the body up, breathing in and reaching up, and breathing out and sinking down into warrior one, making sure that back foot is at 45 degrees and the front knee is over the front foot. And then either staying here, or if you want to, bring those hands down behind the back and either interlace the fingers, or take your band or your belt or whatever you've got to hold on to behind you, opening that chest to the front, breathing through the stretch. Excellent. And then releasing the hands, bringing them back to the chair, releasing the back heel, coming into a long lunge, and then bending that back knee, and bringing the knee to the floor, releasing the back toes, coming into your dragon pose on the other side. Either pressing into the chair to open the chest and lift up through the torso, or stacking the hips and the body over the hips and coming into full dragon pose, breathing in and reaching up, And everybody breathing out in dragon breath. Excellent. And then from here with your hands together at your chest, we're twisting towards the back leg, keeping the hands in the middle of the chest so they're working together, and then tipping the elbow towards the front elbow towards the front knee, and using that to press that front elbow into the front knee to help open the chest a little further. And then if you want to, extending the arms, one above, one below, to open a little bit further, using that bottom arm to gently lever against the front leg to help open that chest a little bit further if you want to. Breathing through the stretch, and then returning to the front, hands together, placing the hands on the chair, tucking the toe, pressing through that back foot to lift back up to your lunge, and either gently walking the feet, or if you can, stepping that foot back and coming into your downward facing dog one more time. Breathing and stretching here. Really enjoying that moment of gentle stretch in a nice calm pose. And then gently walking the feet forwards, returning to your flat back position on the chair. Breathing in, looking ahead, breathing out, folding down. Now let's just take a couple of rounds of breath here in our last forward fold pose. And then with the next in-breath, coming back to the chair, flat back, breathing out, breathing in, and then sweeping all the way back up to mountain pose, looking up towards the hands, and then breathing out, and bringing the hands down the middle. Okay, excellent, well done. So from here, we're going to work on a few, a standing balance that works through the chest as well, and then work on a few lovely stretches for the chest and the shoulders, because we've been working really hard, especially with those press ups. There's quite a lot of work going into the shoulders and the chest there, so we really want to make sure that we stretch everything out nicely. So, first of all, working it with our standing balance. So turning your chair now so that you can hold on to the back of the chair while standing next to it. Making sure you've got enough space to stand freely next to your chair, and that your chair is at a good position for your arms. So you don't want the arm to be stretching all the way forwards, and you don't want it to be tucking up behind you. You want the chair nice and level with you to the side. From here, we're going to bring the feet together. Stand tall, shoulders up, back and down. And then we're going to focus on shifting the weight into the foot that's closest to the chair, and then lifting the heel of the other foot. And as you lift that heel, try not to let your weight sink into that standing hip. Keep everything up and tucked underneath. Again, using those tummy muscles to help create a nice stable base. And you can stay here with the toes touching the floor, or we can lift that foot just off the floor. Or if you want to, you can try and lift that knee up to hip height. And from here, we're going to balance and breathe, finding a spot to focus on in front of you. And then we're going to add in an arm. So lifting the same arm as the leg that's lifted in front. And then we're going to take that hand and open it all the way out to the side, and then keep going behind you. Now, if like me, you're near a wall, you might want to just make sure you've got enough space to reach all the way as far as your range of motion in your shoulder will let you. And as you begin to open behind, let that chest follow. So you're opening the chest to the side, but try to keep those hips facing forward. So we're not opening out like this with the legs. We're keeping the legs and the hips facing forward. And we're twisting through the torso and opening the chest to the side. Breathing here. Now balancing. Feeling that standing leg starting to work really hard. And then coming back to the middle, we're going to sweep that arm all the way around and then hug the other shoulder. So creating a lovely stretch in the shoulder of the arm that's not holding the chair. And you can as well take your head to look over that shoulder next to the chair. Very good. And then releasing and letting that lifted leg come back down to the floor and just giving both legs a little shake. Lovely. And then swapping sides. So either turning around or moving your chair to the other side so that we can work on the other side. So again, starting with the feet together, standing tall, shoulders up, back and down, making sure your chair is in a good position to support you. And then shifting your weight onto the leg that's closest to the chair. So you should be working on the other side this time. And then lifting the heel off the floor of the leg that's furthest away from the chair, remembering not to let the hips dip. We're not sitting into the hips. We're keeping everything underneath us. Nice, strong, stable base to work from. And then again, you can stay here, lift the toes off the floor, or lift the knee up to hip height. Taking a moment to find your balance here. And then lifting the same arm as leg up to shoulder height. And then opening that arm out to the side. And taking it behind you as far as you can, taking the gaze with you, looking at that back hand. And taking a couple of breaths here as you balance. And if you want to, you can let go of the chair and try to balance on one leg. Or if you just need that little bit of support, then keep the hand on the chair. And then moving that hand all the way through and round to hug the body, holding onto the shoulder on the other side, looking towards the chair this time, feeling that lovely stretch through the neck and into the shoulder. Breathing as you balance. Lovely. And then in a nice controlled way, releasing the arm, releasing the foot, standing back on the floor with both legs, and then giving the legs a little shake. Excellent. Well done. From here, we're going to move into a couple of wall stretches. So just making sure that you have a bit of wall space near you that you can stretch on. So we're going to work on a chest stretch and a shoulder stretch. So to start with, we're going to stand in front of the wall. So you're facing the wall, and we're going to take the hands up sort of level with your head at shoulder width up towards the face. And giving yourself a little bit of space between you and the wall, we're going to turn one hand and place the back of the hand against the wall, and then slide the hand in front of the body and then underneath the other arm, and keep going until your shoulder meets the wall, keeping that arm at shoulder height. And then from here, you can lean into that shoulder a little bit more and just feel that lovely stretch into the shoulder on the arm that's underneath. Breathing, stretching, making sure that the underneath arm is at a good height, so it's level with the shoulder. If it's down here, you won't feel that stretch in the shoulder. And see if you can keep your body facing the wall here as much as possible. Depending on how tight you are in the shoulder, you might find that actually that's quite tricky. So you might want to come off the wall a little way, give your shoulder a bit more space, or you might just need to turn away from the wall slightly. But the more we can face the wall and the closer we can get to the wall, the deeper that stretch will be. Excellent. Breathing through the stretch. And then releasing and bringing both hands back to the wall and changing sides. So this time the other hand is going to turn the back of the hand, it's going to slide along the wall in front of you and keep going underneath the other arm until the shoulder meets the wall. And then we're going to lean into the wall, keeping the underneath arm at shoulder height, trying to twist the body to face the wall if you can. trying to keep that body close to the wall if possible. And breathing here as you stretch. Remembering not to let those shoulders shrug up towards the ears. So consciously drawing the shoulders down away from the ears at the same time. Excellent. And then nice and gently releasing the underneath arm and then bringing both arms back down to your side, giving them a little shake, giving the shoulders a little roll. Okay, and then from here, we're going to take a slightly different, so that stretch was working through the back of the shoulder and the top of the back, and this next stretch is now going to work across the front of the shoulder and into the chest. So now we're going to turn and face to the side of the wall. So you're at 90 degrees to the wall, your arm and your shoulder touching the wall. From here, make sure you've got enough space behind you that we're going to reach the arm that's closest to the wall along the wall behind you. So it's almost like the pose we just did with the balance, where we open the arm all the way up and out as far behind you as you can. So again, keeping the hand at shoulder height. It's a bit tricky. I'm blocking what you can see, so I'm actually going to do it on the other side first. So facing 90 degrees from the wall, and then taking that hand behind, placing the hand on the wall at shoulder height, and seeing if you can turn your body away from the wall. So we're really opening through the shoulder and into the chest. And again, the closer you stand to the wall, and the more you can turn away from the wall, the deeper that stretch will be. So just find something that is a good stretch for you. Okay, it doesn't need to be really deep, intense stretch if that is too much for you today, but just make sure it is a little bit challenging, just a little, just making sure that we're stretching through those muscles enough. Breathing as you stretch. Excellent. And then releasing and swapping sides. So turning to face the other way, stretching the other arm along the wall behind you, keeping the hand at shoulder height, and then turning away from the wall, coming closer to the wall if you want a little bit more. And then stretching here. Excellent. And then releasing. And we're just going to finish with a nice gentle stretch through the shoulders and the back, coming back to your chair, taking a seat. And a bit like the stretch we did in our warm-up at the beginning, we're just going to take the arms nice and wide, sitting tall, and then come back to a hug. And this time really wrapping the arms around, tucking it into the chest and open. And switching, so you've got a different arm on top this time, hugging and curving the back. Breathing in as you open, opening that chest. Breathing out as you curl down. Breathing in and opening up. And then breathing out and curling down. One more on each side. Excellent. Well done. And then just taking a moment to do whatever you need to do now. If you've got any tight spots left, just working a little bit into that area, shoulder roll or a hip roll, maybe a back stretch, maybe a leg stretch, just taking a gentle forward fold, whatever you might need to do just to work into any areas that still feel a little tight or a little achy. And then when you're finished working through those tight spots, finding anything you might need to make yourselves nice and comfortable, whether you want another warm layer, whether you want to pop some socks back on. And then bringing your bottoms back to the back of your chair, still sitting nice and tall, but just using that back of the chair for a little bit of support and rest now. And then placing the hands in the lap, coming back to our lovely big deep breaths. And just before we begin, I want you just to take a moment to notice if you're feeling any different from the beginning of the session. How do you feel in the body? How do you feel in the mind? Do you notice any differences at all? And then bringing that focus to the breath and taking 3 lovely big deep belly breaths. Here we go, breathing in through the nose, sitting up tall, making sure those shoulders are still down away from the ears. And then breathing out through the mouth, nice and slow and controlled. And again, big deep breath in, through the nose, all the way to the bottom of the lungs, in. And breathing out and relaxing. Last time, big deep breath in. Feel that chest opening as you take that lovely big deep breath. And breathing out and relaxing. And then, if you haven't already, just inviting you now to close your eyes as we work through the body to release and relax any last tight spots. So starting at the bottom, curling your toes in towards the soles of your feet. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And relax. And let any last bit of tension in the feet flow down and away into the ground. And then moving to the lower legs, thinking about squeezing the muscles of the lower legs tight to their bones. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And relax. And then moving to the thighs, thinking about hugging the muscles of the thighs tight to the bone. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And relax. And let any last bits of tension in the thighs flow down and away into the ground. And then turning your hands up so the palms are facing the sky, relaxing them into your lap. Curling the fingers in towards the palms. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And relax. And send any last bits of tension in the hands down and away into the ground. And then thinking about the muscles of the arms, hugging the arm muscles tight to your bones. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And relax. And let any last bits of tension in the arms flow down and away into the ground. And then moving to the shoulders, squeezing the shoulders up towards the ears. Squeeze, 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 and relax. And let any last bits of tension in the shoulders flow down and away into the ground. And then moving to the face, thinking about pressing the lips together, scrunching the nose up, squeezing the eyes shut. Squeeze, 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 and relax. And let any last bits of tension in the face flow down and away into the ground. And then hopefully you're starting to feel relaxed, a little bit more heavy in the body. You can feel the soles of your feet pressing into the ground, the backs of your hands pressing into your lap, the bottom and your back sinking into the chair.
feeling relaxed and heavy. And as your body starts to feel a little calmer, and you bring some stillness to our body, let's take a moment to focus on the mind. Often our minds are very busy, lots of thoughts buzzing around all the time. And that's perfectly normal, and that's part of what makes us human. Sometimes our brains are very busy, it can become a little bit overwhelming. And it can be difficult to know what to focus on, to prioritise, and which thoughts are important, and which are ones that can be let go. So what we're going to try and do is just work through a little mindfulness exercise. Just try and help our minds relax and release, and to bring a bit of still and quiet to our body and mind. So as you're sat here in your chair, I want you to imagine your body getting heavier and heavier. Think about your back pressing into the chair, your bottom starting to sink through the base of the chair you're sat on. And as you get heavier and heavier, I want you to imagine any thoughts or feelings buzzing through your mind also getting heavier and heavier, working their way down through your body, from the top of your head, all the way down through the middle, until those thoughts and feelings collect in your feet like lots of little marbles. They're all individual, beautiful, amazing little thoughts and feelings. But sometimes when the weight of all of those thoughts and feelings is sat in our heads, it can feel like we've got the weight of the world on our shoulders. So let's see if we can imagine that weight traveling down the body and settling in the feet, sinking the feet down into the ground, almost like you're burying your feet in the sand. And then with your next in-breath, we're going to curl the toes in towards the soles of the feet. And then as you breathe out, uncurl the feet, relax and release. And imagine a handful of marbles, those thoughts and feelings, dropping out from the bottom of your feet and sinking down into the ground underneath you. And if you still feel like you've got a heavy mind, let's do the same again. Imagining those heavy thoughts working their way down your body into your feet. And then squeezing the toes in towards the soles of the feet. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then relax. Imagine those little marbles flowing out from the bottom of your feet, sinking down into the soft ground beneath you. So it's almost as if you are just placing those thoughts and feelings into a safe place where you can come and deal with them when you're ready, almost like a squirrel burying its nuts. It doesn't bury its nuts because they're unimportant. If anything, it's the opposite. Put them in a safe place where you can come and find them again when you're ready. And you can keep doing that until your mind starts to feel a little bit lighter and a little bit calmer. Your body feels more and more relaxed. You're sinking heavily into your chair. And then let's take a moment here with a calm mind and a heavy body to have a few moments of quiet and stillness. And then slowly starting to wake your body up again by giving your toes a wiggle, giving your fingers a wiggle. Now then stretching your legs away from you, stretching your arms all the way up overhead, taking a big yawn here if you need to. And then bringing one knee in towards the chest and giving it a big hug, rounding the back, and swapping sides, squeezing in. And then sitting up nice and tall for one final big deep breath in, reaching the arms all the way up overhead. And then breathing out, and then bringing the hands down the middle. That's it for today. Thank you for joining me again. I hope you enjoyed the session. And hopefully you have an energized and relaxed rest of your day.